Welcome to a special Classic Game Room competitive review, because this week I'm combining PlayStation Wednesday with Xbox Thursday by competitively reviewing the DualShock 2 controller for the PS2 versus the original big boy Xbox controller for the old school Xbox. The giant one. Look at this thing. It's huge. It's awesome. I love this. The Xbox game controller, Microsoft Corporation, part number X08-17160 versus the DualShock 2 Sony part number SCPH-10010, which is binary for, gosh, I wish Truxton 2 was on the PlayStation 2. So I'm told. Now, I like both of these controllers, and I've logged way more hours on this one. I mean, just Vice City alone, I think I spent half my life using the DualShock 2 controller, which I consider to be one of the best video game controllers of all time. This was sort of a redesign or a modification. In fact, it's barely modified from that original DualShock controller on the great PlayStation. You've got your thumbsticks, your analog thumbsticks, which were huge at the time. I mean, these thumbsticks were really revolutionary. Great for playing those twin stick style shooters, great for playing first person shooters, really good for anything. We've got the D-pad on there, your traditional PlayStation buttons, which are always really nice and comfortable. It's actually a very nice layout for considering how many buttons are on this thing. It's got the L1, the R1, the it's got a lot of buttons, and it still works. Now, the original Xbox controller, not that modified one, which is probably actually better than this one, but I don't know, I kind of like just the sheer size of the beast of the original Xbox controller. You can put your memory cards in there. It's got your twin sticks, but they're in a different location than thumbsticks. And like the PlayStation 2 DualShock 2 controller, you can also push in on the sticks. So there's another button there. This one has this very strange D-pad design, which is actually kind of comfortable. Not a very normal one that you see out there. And then what I personally find confusing standard button layout from the original Xbox, start and back button, and plenty of cable for this thing. Both good controllers. In fact, there really is no clear winner here, which one is better. I'd say which one you prefer. If you have giant Chewbacca hands, then you probably want this one. But for the rest of us, the standard PlayStation 2 DualShock 2 controller works perfectly well. Which one's better? Totally subjective, of course, but I kind of prefer this one. I think the redesigned Xbox controller, the original redesigned Xbox controller, was an improvement from the ergonomic standpoint, but it did lose the sheer size and badassery of this thing, the big boy Xbox controller with the giant Xbox logo in the middle. Like, you're just not going to mistake it. Xbox. I love how the logo is so large that it reflects me and the camera and the shot. Here, let me wave to you. How you doing there? You've got to admire the sheer girth of this thing. There's no other word to use for it. Just girth. Look at that. The big boy. It's a close-up of that funky D-pad. Analog thumbsticks, you can push them in. Here's your colorful buttons. The Mesmerizing logo on the front. It's beautiful. It really is. I like that. They should have done what the Dreamcast did. And they could do it now far easier than they could have back in the day. Just put a giant LCD screen on there. Watch Classic Game Room as you're playing Xbox. And here's the DualShock 2. These are solid controllers. These things last forever, too. I love these. A whole bunch of them. Which controller is better? Personally, I prefer to play games with this one, but I respect this one more. So, I think that's my conclusion. This one wins from the girth standpoint. This one is just better to play stuff with. This thing is, it's twice as heavy as a Dreamcast controller, but it's pretty similar. In fact, I think that's basically what they modeled this after, was the Sega Dreamcast controller. What the Dreamcast controller needed was 2 analog thumbsticks, which this does have. So if you're playing Xbox and for some reason you don't like the standard or the other controller that you have, the newer one, hunt down one of the big boy controllers. They're not that expensive. And PlayStation 2 controllers, I have like 15 of these things. I think I caught the cable for this in the door once, so it's got duct tape wrapped around it. These last forever, and you can just throw them into things or throw them at people if you lose a game of Tekken or something. Both great controller options, the original Big Boy Xbox and the DualShock 2 controller. If you're going to hit people, though, you definitely want this one. As always, thank you for watching. You can pick up cool stuff like the Classic Game Room beer steins over at ClassicGameRoom.com. Surf Panda is my newest book, a kid's book, on Amazon.com. And, of course, Jesus, the Coked Up Chicken, #1 and #2 are on Amazon.com.